Friends, I am so excited about today's video. We have Dr. Robin Sargent of Idle Courses here to talk with us about vision boards. This is a powerful tool to help you as you are on your journey as an instructional designer. Whether you are in the beginning of your career, the middle of your career, or looking towards the wonderful world of retirement, this is a powerful tool for you. We go in depth about how we got started vision boarding, our past vision boards and what has come true, as well as what's on our 2022 vision board and really beyond. So if you're ready to learn more about how this powerful tool really can help you chart your career and really set your mind on what it is that you're going to be working towards and your goals as an instructional designer, then keep on watching.
Robin, how excited are you? We've been talking about doing this vision board video for so long. I've been thinking about this day since probably the summer, honestly. Does that weird?
Is that the last time we spoke?
I think it might have been August.
It's been a year?
August. It's it goes just like that. I mean, I don't even know where this fall went, and I can't even believe that we're even having this conversation, but I think about this. I love a good vision board. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started vision boarding and how many you've done and where this even came up for you?
I think that a lot of my interest in things like vision boards, and I'm just going to go ahead and say the word manifestation, law of attraction, and all those kinds of things actually started, funny enough, when I was studying Bible and theology as an undergrad and in my master's program, because through that program it led me to be interested in different spiritual practices that were actually, I guess you would say, in many ways almost diametrically opposed to Bible. I got into some of the other woo-woo spiritual things, and so that's really, I think, when it started. And my interest there. But what I think really kind of was the spark for me as far as designing my life happened when I was an academic advisor at Shorn University, and the assistant dean at the time introduced me to the book by Napoleon Hill, which is Think and Grow Rich. And it was after I read that book, that was when I really started to understand that we can be the designers, the authors of our own life experience. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I'm just in awe all the time about how that stuff happens.
So funny that you bring up that book, actually, because I'm in a coaching program and they do a quarterly book club, and Think and Grow Rich for Women is actually on that, is one of the books for this quarter that I have to pick up. So I'm going to have to check that one out. I haven't read that one yet. I have to say that my interest in manifestation, the secret, probably happened just a few years ago, but it was something that I had heard about, I knew about. I've done a vision board here or there in the past, but it wasn't until I started to look at my business. I think as freelancers, when you start out, you're kind of just I'm going to take anything and everything. I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm just going to go and see what happens. And when I finally had to take a step back and was ready to do that leveling up, I had to stop and think what is it? For me, it was almost like a new vision, like a business plan. What am I looking at? What do I want to accomplish? Where am I going with all of this? Right. And I think for so long, it almost felt like a hamster wheel, and I felt like I was going, but I wasn't sure what I was going towards. And then I decided, I'm on the YouTubes. I follow lifestyle people, I feel I'm kind of cool. And I saw them doing it. I'm like, why am I not doing that? And there is such a powerful thing of just writing down a goal, even if it's like you just write it down on paper, you write it down, like you cut it out and you do all the things. And I would say my first, like, not my first, but like my biggest one was, I guess in 2019, 2020, and it was like halfway through the year and everything was done. I'm like, what's next? What are we doing now? And there was just a power. It was nice having something visual there to remind me of what I was working towards. So when you create your vision board, do you like, when do you do it? What's your, like, how do you figure out what you want to put on that board?
So the one that I find that I do the most is, and I do have some visual ones, but the kind I find I do the most are actually either handwritten, or I have a thing called my morning formula where I write about myself as far as what I want to see myself as in the near future. And I read it every morning. And so those have been the ones that I do the most, are the handwritten ones. But if I make a visual one, I do it in Canva.
I saw you have a template for our friends, and I like the Canva template. Do you want to know what I did last year, which I thought was pretty cool?
Yeah.
You can do a vision board on your phone.
Oh, tell me.
So it connects to your Pinterest. But so what I did was I have these boards in Pinterest for like my vision board for the year. And then this is really, so my first like screen on my phone are different widgets, and I can link the Pinterest widget, so the different boards, and it cycles through my phone, so all the different images in my on my vision board. So every time I open my phone, like I have one board that's all inspirational quotes and all of that, and then another one that's like things that I want to achieve in the future. So every time I open my phone, I see it.
It's what is that called?
Comes up. It's just Pinterest. So let me open up my Pinterest app and I can show you.
How are you getting Pinterest to show up?
So, okay. So I created these two. I have a lot of food stuff on my phone.
Me too. On Pinterest? Heck yeah.
On Pinterest. I like to eat. So I have a quote, and so like an iPhone, like one board, I create one board and has, there we go. And I save all these different like inspirational quotes that I found on Pinterest. And then I created another board, and it has things like me speaking on different stages. I want to have a house in Miami. It has pictures of that, my future office, and like all these different things that I've saved, right? And then on my iPhone, how did I do it? I think I hold it down till it wiggles. And then you click the plus sign and you can add widgets, and Pinterest is one of these widgets. So on my first page, I added 2 widgets, one for each of the Pinterest boards, and then I linked them. So now every time I open my phone, it's an inspirational quote and one of my the items for my vision board.
Oh, YouTube boards. I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget.
It's
I'm always downloading apps that will feed you inspiration quotes.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of it feeding ones that I've already collected, plus the vision board. That's brilliant.
Yeah. And it like just cycles it through. So like every hour or so, so every time I open my phone, it's a different image, a different quote. And I'm like, at the end of the day, sometimes when my mind's still racing, the only thing that will like stop me from like actually tire me out is going on Pinterest and like mindlessly pinning things. So I'll just pin quotes and like stuff for my vision board to like keep the content fresh. And that will finally put me to sleep.
Oh, I have a wish list on Pinterest, but I have not thought about using it as like a vision board. And I love that. And it also kind of gave me the idea, well, if you can put on your phone, you know how like all the pictures that you make as your favorites, you can cycle them through on your Apple Watch too.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I guess you could do it that way as well.
Yeah, and it's just these like visual reminders that I think so many instructional designers and newbies, and you work with so many people that are like hoping to transition into the field, that I know it's a powerful tool for them as well. And I think sometimes when you're putting your resume out there and you're maybe not hearing back, or you know, if you're just struggling to get into like that position or figure out like that transition, it helps to be that goal, so you kind of like know what you're working towards. And I know that that's something that is part of your program. You ask people to write down like where they want to work and all of that. Do you have any good success stories from that?
Oh my gosh, I have things that give me goosebumps every time I tell the stories. So the way it works is that I have, just soaked a lot of the program just full of these, just really understanding that what you believe and what your intentions are become true in your reality. What you focus on, you get more of, and what you believe about yourself is what comes true. And so if you believe that you can, and you set the intention to do so, and you make those small decisions every single day that work towards that goal so that you're in alignment with it, it freaking happens. And so one of the things that I tell them, like right when they join the program, write it on a sticky note. Here's a Canva sticky note, like whatever it is that you need. I am an instructional designer. Like put your name, like Robin is an instructional designer, and put it somewhere where you see it every single day. And that's like that's their first step. And then I also tell them, I want them to put a due date on it. When are you going to by what day and month and year are you going to become an instructional designer? And the craziest thing is that, I always am interviewing for like success stories, and even people that, don't want to come on the podcast, they still reach out to me directly to tell me about how they landed their jobs or reached their big goal. And they will say that the date that they put on their, Nancy is an instructional designer, and then they put the date, is the exact date they got the offer letter. And I have at least 4 or 5 people who have told this story where it was the exact date that they get the offer letter. And every time it gives me goosebumps. And I've even seen people do really specific things about the type of industry that they want to work in. They get it. The type of work specifically that they want to do. It happens for them because, it's the subconscious at work. It's the intention at work. It's being aligned. It's, they're, in the very back of their mind, they know, oh, I want to do it by this time. And so it keeps them moving forward. Oh, I got to get this done because I know I'm going to reach that date. And it's magic.
It really is. And I think putting your name on the sticky note and that you're going to be instructional designer by this day isn't going to be what the magic pill that's going to solve everything, but you still have to work for it. But then you're making decisions, and sometimes you don't even realize that the decisions that you're like, the conscious decisions that you're making, you don't even realize are tied to that goal necessarily, but you make decisions that'll end up aligning with that goal, and things do a lot, fall into place for you. And I know that for myself personally, like there are things that I forgot that I've written down. So I know we're going to talk about this in a minute, but like, just last week, my director of learning experience design, Rachel, she's like, Vanessa, let's go back to that sales strategy document that we did in the beginning of the year. And I was like, oh, okay. But we haven't even looked at that. And there was an industry on there that I wanted to break into, which is government. And now I'm getting contracts in government. And I'm like, we were trying and then it wasn't working. So I kind of just like let it like go and didn't think too much about it. And then now we're partnered with someone, we're getting all these government contracts, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even like, you just have to write it and like put it out there. And you don't even realize that the decisions that you're making or the people that are coming up in front of you or the conversations that you're happening are all aligned back to that goal. Those for me are sometimes like the best vision board manifestations, because you just like totally forgot that it's even happening.
Well, that's kind of the trick of it too, though.
Yeah.
The trick is to have the faith and the belief that you are deserving of what it is that you want and that you put as your vision for yourself, whether that's things or goals or careers or whatever. And the faith is, you say it, you know it's going to happen, you believe it, you're grateful for it in this moment, and then you just forget about it. Mm-hmm. And then, just like you say, you look back and like it happens. Now, if you focus on like, oh, what if it doesn't come, and oh, I don't know if I can actually, become, we're going to keep sticking with instructional. I don't know if I can actually become an instructional designer. I don't know if I'm good enough or whatever. Well, then you're out of alignment. You're focusing on what it is that you don't want. And so it really is, that's part of the trick of it, is like, put it out there, believe it, and just, kind of forget about it.
So what goes on your vision board? Do you have like sections? How do we do this?
Let's see. I've done it, like I said, I've done it many different ways, but usually I have, in my own personal one, it's a mix of like one vision board is family and personal and maybe material items. And the other one is business. Those kinds of goals. And so, I guess for some people it might be like personal and career. And so that's kind of how mine looks. But if I do my morning formula, is kind of what I call it. And I got it from somebody, I can't even remember who it was, but he called it my morning formula because you read it every morning. But that weaves everything in together.
Both, yeah. I put them together. This year I won't. I usually do my like a vision board. It kind of depends on what's going on, but like the end of like the Christmas-ish week, or like in the beginning of January, whenever I can have a few minutes to actually sit and do it. Previously I put them together just because of like where I had it, but this year we're going to be doing one in here just for Anchored training and just for the business. And then I'll have one. I like to have like the visual somewhere. I'll see it every day. And then on my personal one, actually really, like I'll probably put it on both, but I put pictures of my kids on them. Cause like, that's like that reminder of like why I'm working so hard and what it is. Like, I'm not just building something just to build it. I'm building for a future for them. And I like to have that reminder right there in front of me. So what are some things that were on your 2021 vision board?
For my 2021, I could show you, but like I said, it kind of makes it feels so personal.
You don't have to show. It's totally.
Well, you know what I mean? It just kind of makes me feel like, I don't know, a little.
You're like out there a little naked.
Yeah, a little naked. It makes me feel naked. But I don't know. You want to see? I don't care. Whatever. Because I know that if I feel this way, then probably somebody else would too, about sharing theirs, and they probably have the same darn things on their vision board. So whatever,
For
right?
Sure.
Okay. All right, look, here's my 2021. It's a little ostentatious. I'm
Oh my God, Iceland. That's beautiful. I love that.
Okay, so, and what's crazy about it, and we were talking about this before you press record, I just moved into my castle on the water.
Congratulations.
So I'll stop sharing, but so I moved in my castle on the water in the sense that if I showed you a picture of this house, it kind of has like a castle vibe to it. Obviously it's not as big as the picture on the vision board, and it's on Lake Lanier, and it's in Georgia. And what's funny is I had no idea that this would be the year that I could even qualify to get a home loan, because as you know, running a business, you have to show a minimum of 2 years of business growth in order to qualify. And then you have to make a certain amount of income and whatever. You can't say like, oh, I lost money on my business, because then you can't get a home loan. And so, well, it happened this year. We just moved in October. Iceland, I'm going to in just a couple of weeks for my
Nice.
birthday. Yes.
That's awesome.
And then my son, my oldest, started private school this year. Now he actually is in a private school because we found out this year that he has dyslexia, and he might be on the spectrum. I haven't got that tested officially, but we've had some doctors kind of hint towards that. And so I put him in a private school for dyslexia. And so that is coming true. I have been gardening like crazy. I think it had a lot to do with the success of my other house because of the gardens. And then I have a white Mercedes SUV sitting in my driveway that I just got. And I'm not even like a car person. I just kind of had on there, like, I really thought the G-Wagon was cute kind of thing. And I was riding around in a 2013 white Tahoe, and I was just going to keep it because I don't care what I drive. I really don't. But they said that to fix it, it was going to cost $7,500. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, I got $15,000 I could trade it in for today. Why would I pay that much when I could just get more from trading it in? And then I told you earlier, like, I traded in, and my G450 was actually really affordable. It was $24K out the door. And so everything on that vision board, as far as the first page, has come true this year.
That's amazing.
I know. And it's like I said, it's ostentatious. It's like absurd. You're going to think, oh yeah, you're going to reach your, get your guests on the water and Iceland vacation all in the same year. And it doesn't always happen that way, but it did for this one.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, right? It doesn't, just because it doesn't all happen in one year doesn't mean it's not going to roll over into the next year. So I don't even know where in this house my vision board went. So we also just moved in the beginning of April. We call this my Real Housewives of New Jersey homes. Everyone says that my staircase is like Teresa's staircase with the double. And so I'm basically just manifesting that eventually I'm going to be on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Although I don't actually want to be on, I'll be a friend of, I would never actually go all in. Yeah, like, right. Like, I don't need to do all of those things. I just want to like hang out. But so I wrote a check to myself. And I didn't hit that last year, and I didn't hit it this year, but it just means that it's going to the next one. And I actually, for this year, one thing that I just did last week for the business is that I'm putting out there exactly what's going on our vision board. So I already told, I told all of our contractors, like, this is what we're working towards. This is why we're doing, we're having these meetings. This is why we're putting together all these processes. This is, you're going to be reached out to by our marketing person, because we're out there more on social media. And the reason is that we're striving to be $1 million business by this day. And I'm just putting all of this stuff out there because it's better to have everyone in alignment, have that discussion, put it out there, and no longer hide behind, well, I don't want people to, I feel like naked when you're like putting out there what you want, especially when there's like more material things or things like that. But I think that there's such a powerful tool for instructional designers, especially new to the field, to just put it out there what you want. Because it's making a commitment to yourself, really. A commitment to your future self.
It's funny that you bring up the $1 million goal, because that also was one of my goals, and I have it on
amazing,
like one of those pieces of paper. I wrote it over and over again, and I wanted to manifest that in 2020, because I put that on my goal for like December 2019. And what I've learned along the way, even though I didn't do it in a year, right? I didn't make $1 million in a year. I wasn't even making, with my business, I wasn't even making like $250 at the time that I put it on the vision board. And so in 2020, I got halfway there. And then this year I reached the 7 figures, or the business did. Of course, that just means that it reached that, but expenses, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But what it taught me was you have to be in a place prepared to even reach, halfway there before you can get to $1 million. Do you know what it feels like to have 100 grand come into your business in a week? Right. And if you don't know what that feels like, and you're not aligned with being able to manage that amount of money, know where that money's going, its intents and its purposes are going to be, then you are not going to be ready for $1 million walking in the door. And so that I just want to say that if that is your intention to grow to $1 million business, you will get there, but you're going to have to go through the steps of getting in alignment with what that means for you, for your business, and for what that next thing looks like. And so, as somebody who also had that on my board, I just want to know.
You brought up a good point, because it's something that I just talked to Rachel about, and I was saying, the beginning of the year, we were so down on like not getting this contract that I thought we were perfectly aligned for. And we were just reflecting on it. And I said, if we had gotten that contract, we were not in a place where we could have handled that contract. Now we can all day, every day, like walk in the park. But back then, just a few months ago, we wouldn't have been in that place. So I think you're totally right. Like you still have to baby step. It's good to have those like huge goals and things like that, but it wasn't like that was your first vision board, right? Like your first vision board wasn't a castle in the water. It all like led up to it. Yeah, I think that's just such a powerful tool. And I think no matter where you are in the year, there's no like wrong time to create one.
No, I'm writing down goals all the stinking time. I mean, you can call it my planner, you can call it my goal book, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, research shows over and over again, we know just from personal experience too. What I mean by we is like you and I, we know that people who write things down, it's like some like crazy percentage, I know, right? It's like only 14% of people write things down. And of that 14, of those people that actually write things down, they're like, 30, 80, whatever percentage more likely to reach all of the goals that they set for themselves just by putting pen to paper.
Yeah, it seems so simple. And I love your idea. It's just a sticky note sometimes. It's literally just a sticky note. It doesn't have to be a huge widget situation on your phone or, old school tag, all that, just a sticky note and write it down and just saving them.
Yeah, I really want to share my morning formula too, because I think that one was really powerful for me. And I think it would be useful for others in the sense that you have to take the time to go more than just picking pictures, which picking pictures I think is really fun and you can get really clear. But what you really want to focus on is like how you want to feel when you get there. And that's the point, like you want to feel like you are taken care of and you live in abundance, and that you feel, I don't know, like you're living out your purpose or whatever those feelings are, is why you put things on your board. And so I think really getting into the feelings of why you want to put things there is important. And I think that writing it out this way, and I'll show it to you because I don't care, right? I already showed my thing that I was most embarrassed about. So I actually looked at my edits here, right? This is my Google Doc. I wrote this October 2nd, 2019. This is my morning formula. So I said things like here, let's see, boop, 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 full screen. So it has changed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people who are looking to learn the skills of a new career and land a job in their field. All right, and it just goes down. And what was, so I wrote it as far as like what I am in the future. And so I'd encourage you even before your vision board, like really write out what you want to see yourself as and doing in the future. And then character traits. I thought this is not something you usually see on a vision board, but you, like we keep talking about, right? You want to align yourself with the person that is that. And so what does the character traits that are required for somebody that can change the lives of hundreds of thousands of people? Well, they got to be disciplined and organized and caring and yada, yada. And then, it's funny, as of right here, 100 people enrolled in one time in the Idle Courses Academy. And, just this last cohort, we enrolled 220. And so
that's awesome.
These things happen. My life in pictures, I always wanted a home on the water, as you can tell. That has not gone away. I guess I've always liked the G-Wagon.
I love it. Right.
What's funny is there's other things I put on here, like rules for life. And I encourage people to do this one too. I was a drinker when I put this on here, but I had been feeling convicted about it because I was drinking all the time. And so I put on my morning formula that I just don't drink anymore, not one sip. And I kid you not, that it was exactly what I write this on October 2nd. It was at 11 days later, I had a moment with alcohol, and it changed my entire perspective on it. And I swore to never drink again. And so I've been without drinking since October 13th, 2019.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it was on my rules for life, and it was just there. And I just thought of it as like, if I really want to be this kind of person with these kinds of character traits, then it seems like that would be something that would be important. And it happened. And it was actually, in some ways, I think the thing is like, it was a bad event that happened, right? That's usually why people drink alcohol. It was a bad event that happened, but it led me to fulfilling one of the desires, but I couldn't do it on my own. I had to have that kind of experience to make it happen. And so sometimes,
it's almost like the universe aligned you to that experience so that it was what you needed. It was that push. So even through like the hard times, like knowing that one of the things that I talked about, and this is coming out on December 1st. So it will have gone up last week. So my like lesson for this year, and in my Thanksgiving episode is about my lesson for 2021, and that's trust the process. And that there'll be times that you get knocked down, but if you're trusting the process, that all these things that are happening to you are actually happening for you for a reason, that it's all part of the plan. God's plan, the universe's plan, whoever, whatever you believe in, it's all part of the plan. And you just keep your head up, keep working, keep trying to be better, make great choices, do what you can, and it will continue to push you forward.
Yeah. I mean, failures are just nudges from God, the universe, like, oh, don't go that way.
Yep.
I mean, I can tell you like story after story, like, in 2020, I was still trying to run the academy and get clients and so my attention and my focus was split, trying to serve clients, get clients, and at the same time serve my students. And when I said I just want to focus on the students and whatever happens with the clients, I couldn't get a client to save my life. Like after that, it was like I kept being pushed to like just focus on the one thing, right? The students, the people, and changing their lives. Because every time I tried to go and get a new client or whatever, and weird things would happen. It just would never work out. It would never come through. And I was like, what? Why can't I get a client? And it was because I need to focus on the thing that was, part of, I think, my true ultimate purpose.
Yeah. So what's going on next year's vision board?
Well, I got a few things. So currently we are pre-authorized as a trade school for the state of Georgia. And so I am looking to become the first and only authorized trade school for instructional design.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Funny enough, that was one of the, it wasn't even on my radar to be like an authorized trade school. I mean, I would always called it that, especially when I sat down and created the mission and vision for the company. I called it a trade school. I never thought about it being an authorized thing, but funny enough, one of my competitors, or whatever you want to call them, reported me to the Georgia Non-Public Post-Secondary Education Commission. Who knew that was a thing? And they said, you are out of compliance. And if you don't become authorized, then whatever. And we're going to charge you a bunch of fees. And I said, oh, well, I don't mind at all. That sounds great. I will be an authorized trade school.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge is accepted. So that's on my list for next year, is definitely to be an authorized trade school, and then to go and get, I think it's ICAET. We're accredited to give out continuing education units, and then to continue to grow the idle talent pool, to actually place people on contracts.
Awesome.
Those are my big ones. And then another one that's kind of like my baby project that I really want to grow is the Idle World project, which I got a lot of the ideas from Design by Humanity, right? You know how they go and they create training for nonprofits for free. Well, as what I wanted to do for Idle Course, like my vision statement is create an idle world for all learners. And so of course that means, disadvantaged learners or nonprofits or whatever. And so it also gives our students an opportunity to create courses and get the whole experience. And so we've created the Idle World project, where people get in groups after they graduate from the academy. They work with a nonprofit or on a nonprofit topic. They build e-learning, and we host it on our page. And you can go to idlecourses.com/idle world, and you can see, and you can download the courses that students make for these nonprofits. And so I want to grow that. Right now it's just got one, because we had to go through a beta and all that kind of stuff, but I want to grow Idle World projects. That's
really cool. On my vision board. Well, so this one I'm turned on, so I'm going to do both of them. We sold our shore house beating COVID because everyone wanted it because there's no inventory, and it was a really great deal. So we said, sure. So I want my shore house back. Not necessarily that one, but I want my house back. But I also want a place in Miami. It's always been near and dear to my heart. So always on my vision board are those two things. I have team members that I want to bring in full time and have that stability to give them the life that they want, and not just, like bare minimum, like this is what I for, like, no, like you are in abundance because you are working with me and we are fulfilled on our projects. And I am excited to be doing more speaking with instructional designers and talking about like branding yourself and how do you stand out in the crowd. So we're actually starting in January for workshop series. The proceeds of that will help to fund the next Anchored in Learning Summit, but it'll be some, like week 1 is about knowing your worth and really understanding the type of ID you want to be, and then week 2 is about what's week 2? Oh, branding. Like branding yourself. What are you going to talk about? Then we talk about resumes and how to interview and just like how to present yourself and deal with the challenges and take what you're learning and apply it in the real world, and have those types of conversations and stand out, because it's hard to stand out, and there's a lot of noise on social media, and there's a lot of noise on LinkedIn. So how do we do that? So I'm really excited to grow that as a little like side project. And then I'm just really excited, and on our vision board for next year is just really immersing ourselves in our new town where we live. And when I put my kids in school this September, it felt like, okay, this is it. You're now gonna like be a townie, and like, you know what I mean? Like really integrate yourself in the things that the town does. Before I had kids, there were so little that we could do stuff with my family. And, now it's like they're in activities and we are making friends in town. So just, that's going on our board, is just about, having that full life where we have great friends in the community and we're building within the community. So I'm really excited about that. And two things that were on my vision board were to be a speaker at Technology and at ICE. And I was selected to do pre-recorded sessions for both of those for next year. So now it's going to be on that stage live with confetti. That's on the next board. But yeah, I'm excited. I think this is going to be really great. And I think that, it's a powerful tool, and one that it makes a difference. It just makes a difference when you set those intentions, and you just set those goals, no matter how you do it: phone, Canva, sticky note, piece of paper. Starting the day. Yeah, Google Docs. Just like starting the day with that is a really good way to start the day. I know for myself, when I start the day without having that centering time, it's like I feel off for the whole day.
Yeah, it's so funny you said make new friends in new neighborhood. I have that on my list too.
Yeah.
I just thought about business ones, but I have like the whole thing. I also want to do like an idle road trip. Like go and I want to meet my students in person. I've already done like a couple of them where I've like gone and met with some of the like founding members and mentors that I have in the academy, but I want to like go like to Texas and California, where I know there's a bunch of them, and I just want to see their face.
Yeah, like virtual is cool and all, but like, yeah, it's like a road trip. Well, you could have an idle bus. Oh my God, this could be so fun. Don't tempt me with a good time. I will be on that bus with you. Oh my God, we could outfit it pink, green. Oh my God. Imagine.
I mean, we might need to like talk about, a duo trip or something. We wouldn't do like a little on the road conference. I also, I've always had the idea that I really want to do like, not a conference, but like a retreat where it's like a tax write-off. You kind of get to learn some things, workshop, but you're in like a vacation.
Well, you want to see sneak peek to my future? Yes. My Miami home, I'm hoping it will be a 5 to 6 bedroom house where I could do those retreats, host them, and we come and we do all of that. I'll Airbnb it when it's not in use, so it was still making money. My husband's not like, hello. But yeah, my dream with this home is to have a place where we can retreat, just get like a bunch of like women together to just work on that next step and solidify that next step for that future, for your future self or your family. So it's on there. Yeah, it's on there. I look at the inventory down there all the time. It's not the time, but it will be. Oh my God, thank you so much for joining us. And where can our friends find you?
Idle Courses.
Yeah.
Facebook and LinkedIn and idlecourses.com and Instagram and YouTube. And
awesome. We'll make sure all of that is linked down below. And friends, with you create a vision board, we want to see it. So make sure you take a picture of it and you tag both of us on the IG. So we definitely want to see it.